Why are hotels a favourite place for the paranormal? Could it be that it was a place of happiness for them, or the location of great despair? From the spirit that haunts room 932 to the ghost of a child who loves to play in the hallways, a man and woman who used to run the property as an inn, and disembodied voices and objects that move on their own. Hotel Bethlehem in Pennsylvania certainly is a spirited property. Hey there, dissectors. Today's haunted location is a 7-story hotel that has had 2 other properties standing where it now stands. People have come and gone, but some decided to stay. Are there spirits that linger original settlers to the area? Maybe they were guests of the old inn, or could they be visitors to the Hotel Bethlehem? Let's take a look at the lives of some of the ghosts who haunt here and why they may have decided to stay. The first property was just a rustic cabin that was built by the Moravians, the founders of Bethlehem, and where Bethlehem was given its name on Christmas Eve of 1741. Our first spirit is thought to be from this time period, before the huge boom in the area and the need for a hotel. But even though the cabin was torn down to make room for advancements in the community, this male entity, a Moravian settler, seems to be attached to the land more than the property. His spirit is seen by staff members of the Hotel Bethlehem moving at great speed around the basement, while being known to shock people by suddenly tapping on their shoulders. So when the cabin was destroyed in 1821, a property named the Eagle was built by the Moravian Church, who also owned other properties in the area. It was designed to handle the overflow of guests coming from the Sun Inn. One man named Francis Thomas, nicknamed Daddy, discovered a new lease for life when the Eagle was built, but unfortunately it wasn't enjoyed for long. Francis was born in Germany and moved to the area when he was 6 years old. When he was a young man, he wasn't the type to run away from danger, having several close calls with the Grim Reaper while riding horseback for his job as a courier. On one occasion, he survived a fall that broke his neck. But after a time, Francis decided he wanted to settle down and do things less dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised if it was due to having many aches and pains from his youthful days. He married a lady called Anna Grafe, and they were happy together for 53 years, while Francis changed career path and became a cabinet maker. Sadly, the couple couldn't have children of their own, so instead they helped raise 3 children of the missionary. Now, everyone loved Francis, and when the inn was built, he became a tour guide of Bethlehem, showing people around and making them feel welcome. Unfortunately, within less than a year of the hotel being open, Francis died in 1822 at the grand old age of 90. But even after his death, he has been seen by visitors still trying to be helpful. His spirit also seems to hang out in the boiler room of the hotel. The Moravian Church hired a couple of innkeepers for the Eagle in 1833, and it's safe to say they were quite a controversial duo. The inn was primarily run by Mrs. Brong, who had the habit of not wearing any shoes or stockings as she served guests. Something I think many of us today would be shocked by, but back then it was very frowned upon. Mrs. Brong really loved working at the Eagle, but after the news of her choice of clothing, or lack thereof, reached her employers, well, they decided to fire her after just 6 months. Now, she may have tried pleading her case, but the behaviour of her husband would have gone against her too. Mr. Brong was a notorious alcoholic who would use any opportunity to have a drink with the customers. Sadly, it was never just a couple of drinks though, and was known to get so wasted he couldn't stand, and the bar staff would have to help him to a bench so as not to fall down where he was trying to stand. Certainly not the look the Moravian Church was going for. But Mrs. Brong loved her time at the Eagle so much, many have witnessed her spirit still walking around without shoes or stockings in the restaurants of Hotel Bethlehem. There is even a report of her kicking a cook, as maybe they weren't doing things how she liked. Sometimes we can look back on certain points of our lives and wish that things were that simple still, or even that you were happier back then. May Yohei seems to have been like this. May was the granddaughter of Caleb Yohei, who was another innkeeper of the Eagle. She was born at the property and spent much of her childhood there, performing for guests in the lobby. The Moravian Church took notice of the talent she possessed and decided to send her to Paris to receive formal training in the operatic arts. By 1888, she was one of the biggest stage stars, but her love life would make headlines. After performing for Queen Victoria's son, Prince Albert, in the 1890s, she met Lord Francis Clinton Hope and married him. At one point, he even gifted her the Hope Diamond, which she wore a few times, but sadly the marriage wouldn't last. Just as she was making headlines about her divorce, she started a relationship with an American soldier, causing even more waves with newspapers. Sadly, when this relationship turned sour though, the young man stole her jewellery. After she died of heart and kidney disease on August 29, 1938, the Hartford Courant obituary quoted May as saying, "I've done pretty nearly everything in my life except theft and murder, but thank God, whatever I've done, my heart's been in it." Maybe due to her life being simpler in her youth or filled with less disappointment and sorrow, her spirit has been seen as a young girl once again. Her ghost seems to enjoy playing the piano, as guests have seen it turn on by itself, and she's also been seen in the third floor exercise room as well as the lobby. Now, on the third floor of the hotel, a man named Frank Smith used to have an office while working at the Eagle, and it appears that life dealt him a pretty shit hand. It seems that a business deal he'd been working on didn't go through, and maybe filled with other problems in life, it all became too much. He walked into the bathroom, which was situated by his office, and shot himself. Today he's been seen by staff as solid as you or I, still wearing a suit and tie. He also makes himself known by cold spots and making the weights fall in the exercise room. During the early 1900s, it was decided that the Eagle would be torn down. Then in 1920, a businessman named Charles Swab decided to purchase the land and build the Hotel Bethlehem so that when his associates and clients came to visit, they would have a luxurious place to stay. One spirit that haunts the hotel from this period has taken a liking to room 932, but I'm unsure if he knows he's dead. I assume that this male entity died in the room, as when he is witnessed, he's wearing only his undershirts and boxer shorts. One poor couple were awoken by him standing by their bed and asking, "Why are you in my room?" before disappearing as they tried to turn on the bedside light. But this room gets even stranger. One lady walked into the room and had a time slip moment as the wallpaper turned pink and flowery before suddenly returning to the present day. Guests have also reported seeing the reflection of someone in the mirror that is gone moments later, and papers will suddenly fly off the desk while the lights flicker. After so many reports coming from room 932, the Hotel Bethlehem invited a paranormal investigator in April 2007 to stay overnight in the room to see if they could get answers. The investigator recorded voices saying things like, "It's Mary. I've locked myself in the closet. What a beautiful bathroom," as well as "Look out the window." Needless to say, guests who are interested in the paranormal often seek out this room for their chance to encounter something spooky. So if you are thinking of checking it out, make sure to book well in advance of your stay. So dissectors, do we feel that Hotel Bethlehem is truly haunted? There certainly do seem to be a lot of stories about ghostly encounters that have gone back decades, and the land has quite a lot of history attached to it too, making it quite likely that spirits do lurk here. Is there one spirit that you feel you'd like to encounter, and if so, what draws you to them? None of the ghosts seem harmful in any way, except if you're a cook for the hotel, as you might experience a kick up the butt from time to time from Mrs. Brong. Hopefully in time, the spirits who are trapped due to sorrow, like Frank Smith, can find peace and move on. But I feel many others just love the place and are happy where they are. So until next time, my friends, stay safe out there.